What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of PvP Legacy. Last night was astronomical, alright? Last night we had a clash of titans, and I never thought such a statement could leave someone so disappointing. However, last night's case, my goodness, was just that. A clash between two titans has left the world not only in awe, but in disappointment. And of course, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. This is a long time coming, alright? If you don't know why these two are beefing or just are unaware of the situation, I'll give you a little background summary here. So, Mike Tyson doesn't believe that Jake Paul is a good fighter or a real fighter. And if you look at any of his previous fights, he's not. All right. Jake Paul believes in the pay to win aspect of life and just threw money at his opponents and said, "Make me look good." And they did. It made him look like a winner. And Mike Tyson called him out on it, said, "You are not a winner, you are a loser." And that started the beef. Even and sorry, let me reevaluate here. I was gonna like say something else, but then completely brain farted like midway through thinking about it. This again, yeah, this was a long time coming, right? This was planned like months ago for this to happen, and then it got postponed till now. And even the day before the fight happened, Mike Tyson like absolutely mollywops like Jake Paul because like they were doing like a face to face or like a face off or whatever it is this little event to show the world our champions. Jake Paul did like this weird little like crawl up to Mike Tyson and like accidentally stepped on his foot, and then Mike just like cocked one back and just whammied into Jake Paul, just slapped the nuggets out of him, absolutely destroyed him. It was just fueled the beef between the two, and just oh my goodness, there was just so much to go at, man. And yesterday was the beloved day where these two gods would start beefing in the ring, not just words, physical destruction. All right. However, reality is oftentimes disappointing, and most times reality won't give us what we want and will only ever give us what it can offer. And what it offered last night was severe disappointment. Like, the fights building up to the main event were more interesting than the actual main event itself. Right? I'm not kidding. There was like a women's league fight that had me like jumping in my seat for just how like locked in I was watching it. Like it was just a crazy fight. I forget the fighters' names, but I remember the one who was pulling some baloney mid fight. All right, her name was Katie Taylor. All right, I believe that's her name. Or it yeah. Sorry, I believe that's her name. And so she started headbutting her opponent. And so that opened up a pretty big like cut on her like eyebrow, which like kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger as the fight went on, which I'm surprised they hadn't pulled her out. Like they should have pulled her the moment like it got any bit bigger, because that's like seriously a problem. But that again would result in Katie Taylor's W, which uh her challenger didn't want that. All right, her challenger, I forget her name. I think it was like Amanda or something like that. So Amanda lost to Katie, and everyone thinks that Katie shouldn't have won at all. And I didn't know the beef until I watched the fight, and I agree. I don't think Katie Taylor should have won. I don't think Katie should have won that at all. I think Amanda put in absolute work on Katie, alright? Even with the giant cut that was just kept getting bigger and bigger because Katie was like headbutting her and like pulling on it with her up with like her head, kind of making it bigger so she could basically be forced to forfeit, which is completely BS, by the way. Amanda was still out here throwing absolute haymakers on Katie, put it in that work, full on demon mode, and still lost. I think that was absolutely robbed. I think Amanda should have won that fight. I'm not big into like boxing or anything, but I smell BS. All right, I could smell it through my screen, and somehow the judges, with a unanimous vote, said Katie's gotta win it. It's baloney. It's a load of BS. And that fight was like an hour, 2 hours before the actual Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight, and that was and not only did it last longer, but it was much more interesting because there was an actual fight. All right, Jake versus Mike was not a fight. All right, it was like a warm up. All right, it was like a lovely send off, to give Mike, a chance to get back in the ring just to see how good he does. And honestly, I have a feeling he thought the same way. All right, like that was his mindset because it was not a fight at all. Just not even close. Right, even with all the things stacked against him, he's pushing 60. All right, he is a 58-year-old man who is still on demon mode. All right, let me tell you, Mike Tyson has that aura. All right, he is a god. All right, he had Jake Paul quivering in his silvery boots. All right, even with the knee injury he had, that he said after the fight that he had a knee injury prior to the fight, but being the absolute giga chad that he is, said, you know what, that's not an excuse. I'm still gonna be in this ring. I'm still gonna be fighting. He is on something different. All right, Mike Tyson is built different. All right, and though reality is sad but true, yes, Jake Paul did win the fight. Did I still believe that Mike Tyson could absolutely rock him? Absolutely. I think if Mike had the opportunity to not play along with Jake Paul's fairy tale stories that he's got going on, I think Mike could have clobbered him. There were multiple times in that fight where I saw Jake Paul fully open, wide open for destructive punches. All right, if Mike saw him, if Mike was able to actually go for those punches, he would have. He would have absolutely destroyed him. Jake would be lying there on the floor, dead, deceased, destroyed. Now it's really sad that with all the things stacked against him, old age is catching up there. He may be an absolute god, but he's still getting up there in his years. He had the leg injury, which hey, can't even hold it against him. He said, "Screw leg injury, I'm still throwing hands." So big props to Mike Tyson for just being the GOAT. But also, before the fight started, the referee came in and said this on live camera. All right, which a lot of people knew this was going to be a part of the rules anyway, but still just hearing it before the fight happens it's just why? Why was this necessary, So the rule was that Mike Tyson couldn't go for any body shots below the ribs. So basically, he couldn't go for body shots. He can only whack Jake Paul in the head. However, Jake Paul could go for body shots, and that's what he did. He just went for body shot, body shot, body shot, body shot. Basically, wearing down the already wear down Mike Tyson, stacking as many odds against him as possible. And you know what? Mike didn't go down once. As I said, Mike is on some demon stuff, all right? He lasted all 8 rounds without going down a single time. Not once, all right? It is impressive. I understand that this is his sport, this is his thing. He knows how to do this stuff, but he's pushing 60. This is a nearly 60-year-old retired boxer who stepped in the ring with a man who was like twice, almost 3 times, like as young. who has more energy and, almost as much strength. Like, to survive that long without even, like, facing any amount of consequences is incredible from Mike Tyson. Right? Again, demon, the goat of boxing, a just absolute powerhouse. And as much as I hate to say it, all right, as much as I just don't like Jake Paul or the Paul brothers in general, they're just not great people. He was a good sport about it towards the end of the eighth round because he did see that Mike, was kind of staggering a little bit, not really able to, get some extra punches in where I'm assuming, where I assume, where I wish that he actually, or he wishes, he was able to get some extra punches in. And seeing that he took his bow, he paid his due, his respects. However, I take it with a grain of salt. All right, it's Jake Paul, okay, who has a notorious record for just being a not like just not a great guy. Like I haven't kept up with him lately, so I don't know what new leaves he's turned over. But in my opinion, I don't care, or it doesn't really matter what leaf, what new leaves the Jake or the Paul brothers turn over. All right, it's the Paul brothers. Right, they're just not known for being upstanding citizens or just overall great people. So yes, he was a good sport about it. I take it with a grain of salt. He still looks like an ignorant asshole because it's Jake Paul. But Mike Tyson saw it differently. He paid his respects anyways. They were, touching gloves, sharing their GGs with each other. So as much as I love hating on, Jake Paul, he attempted to be a good sport about it, and in the end, that I guess that's about as best as I could possibly expect from someone like him. But yeah, overall, it's just a really sad fight. You couldn't even call it a fight. Like it's not even. I can't ever consider it a pro fight. Like it goes on record that yes, Mike Tyson did lose, but I can't see it as a pro fight. If you haven't seen it, I highly just go watch it. Go watch the sadness, the sad reality that a lot of us had to go through. See Mike Tyson lose, and it wasn't even and it was by a pretty big margin too. Like Mike Tyson barely threw punches. He was more like just dodging and kind of just like backing off, or like he wasn't like running. He wasn't running Jake down. He wasn't. Mike wasn't. Doing Mike things, which is unfortunate to see. But again, he's like pushing 60. Right, this is an old retired boxer who stepped into the ring because some youngin decided, hey, I could kick your ass, Grandpa. Little did Jake Paul know, Grandpa still threw hands, and he did. He still threw hands. He kind of got some good punches in. I will admit. I wish he hit harder, but in the end, reality is still reality, and reality sucks and is disappointing. If we could live in our imaginary minds where Mike Tyson destroys Jake Paul, I would huff that copium any day of the week. But yeah, that's gonna do it for an episode of Team You Like It, guys. Did enjoy. If you haven't seen the fight, go watch it. I'm very interested to hear your opinions about it in the comments. So let me know your thoughts on it if you have seen it, and I will see you guys. Bye.